self-care looks like a spa day, and it also looks like a day of being nothing to no one except for myself.
So we're not even caring for it, we're harming it, trying to prove that ourself is enough when we are already.
You are preaching. You are eating it up. Eating it up.
Hey, love, come in. Put your back down. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Put Your Bag Down, the podcast where we're not trying to fix you. We're just trying to be. We're just trying to be present. We're just trying to be with each other. And I love today's episode. It is called The Shitty Side of Self-Care. And the reason we're talking about this is because this is for the ones who are tired of being told that the bubble bath will heal our burnout. Journaling about our trauma is going to make us forget the systems that cause that actual trauma. We're going to unpack the real side of what self-care actually means and looks like for us. So I'm talking about the ugly cry, the boundaries that we need to set, the I'm canceling plans because I don't have time to do small talk today. Like, that's what we're going to get into during this podcast. And with me to dig into all of this is award-winning journalist, speaker, creator, host of the critically acclaimed podcast Healed Girl Era, and my sister friend, Gia Peppers.
What are you doing? Thank you
Hi,
so much for having
love.
me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for carving
Of
out
course,
time
honey. Anything
for
you
this
do, I'm here for.
conversation. I love it. And same. And so I wanted to talk with you specifically around just the shitty side of self-care, because we were having a conversation a few months ago around
Come
like
on.
self-care is stressing me out. Like, it's costing too much money. It's doing all the things. I'm over it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, we can't be the only ones who feel like this. And so one of the things I really want us to talk about, taking out of our bag, putting down, is us trying to do this performative self-care nonsense. It costs way too much money, and it's no return on investment. Like, none. So I want to get into first with what's not working. And so my first question for you is, what's the most ridiculous self-care advice
That's really
that you've
good.
ever received?
I feel like I come from a long line of folks who are amazing and prayed up, and the deaconesses and the choir directors and the folks who love the Lord, and I love the Lord, and I'm grateful for their prayers and their covering, because I really wouldn't be who I am without that. And also, I think there's a conversation that the church is starting to get into, but the fact that like so many of our elders would be like, well, you just need to pray about it. You just need to push through. And sometimes, yes, some seasons you do need to pray about it, push through, but sometimes you do need help from therapists or counselors or advisors to get you through really tough, heartbreaking, long-term trauma that might come up in your life. I think a lot of the times folks also get toxic positivity to really hard things, apply that to really hard things, and really, and because I used to be a toxic positivity girly, really what it is like ignoring the fact that it hurt you, ignoring the fact that something really broke your heart so you can get back to the light. And the light is only sustainable if you deal with the dark. And that's something that I've learned throughout my own like journey of being a toxic positive girl. Today's a great day. The sun is shining. Meanwhile, last night I cried myself to sleep. And it's like, there is, again, I love the Lord. So I do believe that joy comes in the morning, but sometimes those nights are really, really long. So how do you get through those nights? How do you open up your heart to say, my heart is broken. I am not happy. Today is a hard day. And also I do believe it'll get better, but right now I have to deal with what's happening. So I don't ignore my way to a fake version that's not sustainable. Like, it's just not sustainable. So I think those are the two things. What about you? I want to hear yours.
Ooh, I'm still sitting with you have to stay in the darkness. Like, you may be trying to act like you're in the light, but you're really still living in the darkness. Ma'am, okay. All right, so we're actually here at Gia's Pep Talk.
Because light,
Everybody.
like, first of all, like, light itself is such a beautiful thing, but I think and you understand this as a light holder, as a light bearer, as a space holder, light flickers. And like, I think people forget that the brightest of us and the most magnetic personalities and the people who could change the room when they walk in also carry their own trauma and their own things that they're going through. And I think sometimes, as people who are known to be funny and cool and all the different things, like we forget that we also go through things too. And so we get more comfortable. I got more comfortable with the part of me that was like, yeah, I'm here to be an inspiration. And it's like, well, what if I don't feel inspired today? Like, where's that room for me? Where's that room for the other people? Like
Mhm.
you, my sis Jovian, like, oh, you met her at the accelerator, like all the yes, like you, all the people who like are meant to build spaces for other
Mhm.
people's light to shine also carry something that happened to them that brought them to a space of
Mhm.
darkness. And I think we have to be more
Mhm.
realistic about the whole experience of a person in life.
Absolutely. Woof.
We love you,
Goodness.
Jovi.
Also, yes, big shout out to Jovian.
Yes,
She literally is
right.
light, like in human form. She truly is. I would say the worst advice, it feels ridiculous now that I know what I know. I would say that the worst advice and the most inappropriate advice I got was
LOL.
self-care should feel good. Like self-care should always feel good. Like, so that
Right.
means it has to be like a pedicure or a bath or
Hello.
something luxurious or something possibly out of my budget that I then get stressed about later because I'm trying to self-care
Come
my way to
on.
healing and not actually dealing with the pain. So it's the distraction. But sometimes self-care does not feel good. Sometimes self-care is setting a hard boundary with someone you love deeply. And that doesn't feel
Yeah.
good, but it's still caring for yourself. It's still choosing yourself. And so I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I had about it, what I understood it to be, was it's supposed to feel good. And no, it isn't all the
Mm,
time. Sometimes choosing you does not feel good. And sometimes it
mm,
doesn't feel good to other people either. It doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong.
ate that up. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Like, and I got it because you know this better than many. I always love to like point on like the spectrum of self care because I feel like we don't we love to like the wellness industry is like a three what is it 3 billion trillion dollar industry. And
Mhm.
exactly. And like I talked to
One of the
Debbie
illy.
Brown about this a lot, and the work that she does too is like creating space for people to afford their wellness, because a lot of these wellness spaces become siloed for white women who can afford to go on a retreat for 3 days and a $20,000 budget and be able to sit there with the best shamans in the world and go back into their homes and kind of like share those lessons. And black women, a lot of them don't get that opportunity because they don't have access to those type of funds that can be thrown away. Like, yeah, girl, let me $20,000 on a little retreat. Yeah, sis, 3 days. Like, no, girl, I'm going to Jamaica. If we're doing 20,000, I'm going to Jamaica for 2 weeks, like on an all inclusive resort. I'm relocating.
I'm,
I'm out.
I'm, I'm relocating.
3 days
I've
is
moved.
crazy. But
I'm a
like
new
I
person
think that
somewhere
there's a
else.
price tag to wellness that and well-being that is unfair. And I love that you talk about how the real like self-care is in the actual work of it. And I think that's why people have historically been afraid of therapy, have not wanted to do their own work. Like the emotional part is the actual hard work. And once you get to that space, keeping it up is hard too. Like, oh, I thought you was grown. I thought you grew. I thought you had growth. I thought you had healing. Like, why are you talking to me like that? Like, it's like, oh, no, 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 no. I've been healing. Ing is the ing in process. So you tried me. So I you got me there. But I'm coming back to let you know that like the boundary still is effective. So how I love that you said that the work is not pretty.
Yeah, it isn't. And I really appreciate that you named self-care is going to look different for different people, because and then us reclaiming what actual self-care truly means, because it may not be a luxurious bath. It may not be something that may not be something you can
Mm,
afford, like the luxury that seems to be connected to self-care right now. And to be completely honest, the caring for yourself, like doesn't require external things all the time. And I actually know some people where, you talk about you just need to breathe and you need to rest and you need to just center. I know some people that their energy, them resting and breathing actually
Wow.
makes it worse. It actually makes them more restless. They do better when they get their energy out, like when they're working out, when they're doing something physical. And so they're over here sitting in meditation thinking there's something wrong with
Mm,
them, and there isn't. There's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't found what works for you, and we don't get space to find what works for us specifically as Black women, because we are often the strong friend holding everyone else up, showing up for
my
people,
God.
holding space so
Ooh.
they can go take care of them. And let's actually, let's just get right into that. I'm curious, what have you done to hold space for yourself as someone who is a light holder for so many? Talk to me about how you manage the guilt of saying no,
Yeah.
and the guilt of choosing you, and how
That's just a
you
great question.
move and
Because
navigate through
it
that.
is a space where, and I think my my natural like need for alone time is something my loved ones are very familiar with. Like they're not, my sister says it all the time, like, "Do you need to go have her self time, her alone time?" Like it's like that. They know it's a thing. Like, especially I'm home now, my family's home. They know like when I land, I need like 48 hours. Well, really 36 hours where I'm just like nothing to no one. And I might pop out for a meal, say how y'all doing, but I'm gonna be back upstairs in my room getting this good rest
Mm,
because this is where I can rest. And when you're always on and always like
mm,
hyping up people, giving them energy, bringing energy to the space, bringing a space to life for them to tell their story, it is
mhm,
a daily like dredging up of your whole energy, your whole self. And so for me, that looks like having people around me who have known me my whole entire life and know that even as a little girl I like to be by myself. Now there's many reasons about that, but I've just gotten used to that. And I have family who understands that, and I have friends who are like also equally as busy or equally as tapped into their work. And so we love each other
mhm,
endlessly in a way that looks like, okay, why haven't I seen you in 3 weeks? All right, what's going on? Let me call you. Nothing new, just checking, just making sure you good. But it is challenging me to,
mhm,
especially in this season of my life where I am trying to be better in my personal life and not just in my career, because I think I've been extended all the grace in the world from my family and friends about missing birthdays and missing things and missing celebrations, and now it's like, now, girl, you want these, like, community takes effort. Like Michelle Obama just said on her podcast, you want this community that
mm,
your kids can be raised in, your future husband and you can host things and people actually show up. You have to show up for them. Like, so for me now it's like, okay, whose
mhm,
birthday is coming down the pipeline? Okay, can I be in town? Okay, if not, can I send flowers? Can I send
mhm,
a birthday gift? Da, 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 da.
mhm,
When's the next time I can take them out? So I deal with that tension because I don't know if I'm guilty anymore, because I also understand my therapist taught me like to stop doing that to myself because I felt so sad about it all the time. I was carrying this sadness, and she was like, "Girl, this is your
mm,
life. Like literally there's nothing you can do about this, is just your life." I
mm,
remember I was like so down on getting a routine together in the
mm,
morning, and she was like, "But you travel." So like, yeah, your mornings are going to look different. So sometimes you won't be able to wake up and make your smoothie. That doesn't mean the day is trash. It doesn't mean you're a bad adult. So I had to
mm,
learn, like, create and cultivate honest conversations. Now when people ask me for my number and they want to be friends, I tell them straight up, look, I'm not a good texter. Love you down. I'm better in person. Let's go to dinner. Let's talk. I'm not really a phone person. Like, if I'm being honest, just come find me. It's better if I just come pull up on you and see
mm,
you. And I'm going to give you everything I have in that moment, but not that. So I deal with the
mhm,
tension on a day by day, like,
mhm,
way to think about it. And if I feel overwhelmed, I
mhm,
shut a lot down and I, recenter and guide myself back to a space of understanding and remaining curious about what that information is telling me. But I try my best to be honest now in this season about how I'm feeling, and doing my best to like understand myself and understand the emotions. And then I'm really big on like, I am a journaler and I be in my word and like at least 3, 4 times a week in the mornings. And that always helps me reset and just like ask for wisdom for whatever I'm going through. And so again, great family, great friends, great people who understand me, and honesty and in my like inner sanctum alone time is kind of how I navigate all of it.
Hmm. It sounds like you're saying the guilt decreases
Yeah,
when you become more honest about your capacity,
exactly.
honest about who you are. Like today, you're not gonna get a great friend, but
Gotcha.
on next Tuesday, girl, I got you. But also having people in your life
Yeah.
to understand the wholeness of who you are, and so you don't feel guilty about taking on more time for yourself or just
I'm not
being
the
the
tech.
person that you are. You're like, I'm not the texter friend, and the people who love me cool with the fact that I'm not the texter friend.
And
So when they need a
just
texter
know,
friend, they're not gonna call me
but if you
because I set a boundary there. Or
like, we're
not even
just
a
like,
boundary, like a
texting
realistic
also is
expectation.
such a new problem. Social media is such a new problem, but it's real. Like, people really feel upset. Like, you did not like my post and you hate me. And
Mhm.
I'm like, girl, I ain't been on Instagram in 3 days. Give me a break.
Wait, I'm gonna tell a story. I sent Gia. She is not kidding about this texting. I sent Gia a text
Hmm.
message that Gia told me to send her. Gia responded to my text message 2.5 weeks later, like, "Girl, I'm just now looking at all text messages." And it was like Gia
I'm
told
a
me from the
bad
beginning,
texter.
this is how she moves. And look, and then turned
Right.
into, and I think you messaged me back. So I was like, girl, you good? Like,
We
I'm
were
just checking to
live.
make
Are
sure
you
you
could?
okay. This even
And
about the
and and I,
text.
and we bless God for friends like you who be like, "Are
Looks.
you good?" And I actually wasn't good in that moment. I remember like coming back. We met at a very beautiful, but also like soul excavation work type of vibe. Like, we just was in Miami having eat, pray, love, sisterhood of the traveling pants type of like energy. Like, it was just like we came to, like, have business
Yeah.
conversations and moments of faith. And but it really got to the work. Like, we got to the work. People was crying. We ain't
Mhm.
want you to leave. Like, I had to really sit with the fact that, like, things were. I went to that retreat, the Accelerate Her retreat by Kim and Blackwell. Shout out to Kimberly Blackwell and PMM. Really feeling so
Shout out.
depleted and so out of alignment. And y'all, you, Dr. Naima, like, all the people there, but you two in particular, when we were sitting at breakfast, I was like, oh Lord, I'm about to get read for filth. But it was so good for me because you asked me a question, she asked me questions, and there were so many questions that just were like, oh, oh. Oh, okay. I've been ignoring joy. Oh, okay. I've been, overlooking my actual talents and my gifts and my abilities. Like, okay, I haven't been proud of my accomplishments. Okay, I've been rushing through everything. Okay, that's okay. And like, so I think, just processing and being
Mm.
with my own feelings and like finally putting down, like we were talking about, the dream of this one version of a dream when I serve a limitless God. And so, but grief came with that. Like, real grief came with that. Like, the years of working towards one thing and not happening in the way you thought it would, and being okay with it. And like you made me do, write an obituary to it. Like,
Mm.
that helped me. That was all like soul changing, soul affirming
Mm.
work that helps me be more comfortable in my wholeness, and not just a way that's like, because I'm a Virgo, I can logically speak through anything, not just in a way that's
Mm.
logical and I can have language for it, but like I actually can feel better about where I am. And so I was in that moment, like when I get in my feelings like that, I really do just be like, sorry, y'all, love y'all, can't go see you. And I'm gonna get right back. But it's gonna be a couple weeks.
I appreciate that. And you also just named another form of self care that people don't often
Mm,
talk about, and that's grieving. Caring for yourself also means grieving. But
mm,
again, grieving can look like a privilege because you hear the, if I start crying, I won't stop. I don't have time. I have too many responsibilities. I have too many things I need to care for. It's not that bad for me. And grieving really shows up when anytime there's
come
an
on.
expectation that
Mm,
was not met, grief can be there. And so one of the spaces that you were in, it felt like your self-care really did look like grieving a path you thought you were going to take, celebrating it for what it was
mm,
and grieving it for what it was not going to be anymore. And I don't think people lean enough into like
mm.
that
That's
also being a mode of
beautiful.
self-care.
Like, when you put it like that, it's sad, it's heartbreaking. And once you get to a space, and that's what you and Dr. Naima were able to help me get unstuck with. It was like I was like in a car
Mm.
and I was like like it just I wanted to move forward, but I just was sitting in this space of like, how did it not happen this way? And why isn't it happening this way? And I think those are valid questions to ask, but like life ain't gonna give you the answer in one day. So you might as well like try to grieve it. It didn't happen in this version on your timeline, but like when you really zoom out of the picture, when does life happen exactly on the timeline you thought it would? Like it just never does.
I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. You had mentioned something earlier. You said when you come home from traveling, everyone knows that like you need at least 36 to 48 hours. And I appreciate that you've gotten to that place of awareness, and especially the season that you're in right now. I'm curious about, how do you know when you're really caring for
Ooh,
yourself
that's
or when you're
great.
just
How I know
performing
I'm really
rest?
caring for myself versus it'll get down to the fact that like I can't form sentences because I'm so tired. Like it'll get down to the fact that like recently we just left Essence Fest, which was not as bad as people's like yeah, no, they definitely dropped the ball on some things, but like a lot of us who went still had a good time, honey. We know how to have a good time in New Orleans. But when I say
Right.
I didn't get my 36 because I landed and somebody wanted me to come to a brunch and then like the Deltas were in town. I'm not a Delta, but my mom and grandmother are. So like, you know, I have a lot of friends who are Deltas. So they wanted me to come outside. I saw some mentors.
Mhm.
I had friends, I had dates, I had like all these different things. And I was just like trying to show up, like trying. I was just like, let me try, let me try. And yesterday I got to the
Mhm.
point where like I was sitting there and I think I fell asleep with my eyes open in conversation. Like I was like, okay, I need to sit down. I really need to sit down. And so this morning, last night, I came home at
Mhm.
7, got into bed,
Mhm.
woke up and had dinner like for an hour from 9:30, 10:30, got right back in the bed and like slept until 8 a.m. And I'm still feeling a little groggy, but I feel a little more like myself. And so for me, that looks like being like when I know I performed it, when I landed, I had like maybe 12 hours, which was fine, but I really needed 12 more. And so that's when I know I haven't really done it. But when I perform rest, it really looks like
Mhm.
going to an island or going on a trip with friends when I really need to go on a trip by myself, or like going to a space just to show up for someone when I really don't have the capacity to be there, and just acting like I'm okay. So for me, performing rest looks like ignoring rest. I don't really know
Mhm.
what other way to show up for people other than being there, but sometimes I have to drop the ball because my life requires much more constant travel, and at 34 turning 35 in a couple months, baby, my body don't have the bounce back it used to get over those bi-coastal flights. Like I need a little time. I do need to stay the week. If I'm not no reason to
Mhm.
be back in LA, I need to stay the week. So like it's something that I manage daily. And then I realize like binging is not actually rest if I'm watching all the shows, but I'm tired watching the shows. I'm a binger.
That's mine. That's mine. I'm like, I'm laying on the couch. I'm doing nothing. I'm watching TV, but I'm watching a crime show. I'm upregulated the entire time. I'm thinking about all the things the entire time. Like I'm not
I'm on my phone
actually resting.
and watching
Like
the show.
I'm not really, I'm on my phone, but I'm not going anywhere. That's still not
What for you is the
that's not
most effective
rest.
form
That's
of actual rest? Like when do you know you've actually rested?
ooh. I have gotten to a point where I'm
Mhm.
like that it changes day by day. It honestly changes day by day. So, because there are times I am
Mm.
more physically tired, but my mind is soaring and I want to push through, like body wise. I'm like, oh, I said I was going to go work out. So I'm going to go do this workout because I committed to it. And my body's like, girl,
Come on, wow.
what Olympic sport are you They're not going to call you. They not going to call you, girl. You missed it. You don't have to work out. It's okay.
Sit down
Sit
somewhere.
down. Sit down. Sit down. Go sit down. It's the pushing, it's the knowing I'm not pushing through. It's the
Mm,
accepting whatever
mm,
I have right now is truly enough. And I am still worthy. I am still
mm,
lovable. I am still messy. I am still complicated. And all of those things still get to just be me. And so I think I know I'm really
mm.
resting when I don't feel guilt and when I don't feel I'm having to justify it
Yeah,
or make it make
that's good.
sense to anyone else. And sometimes I don't get those moments very often. Like there's some days where I really want to rest, but I've committed to showing up to this thing for family members, or I've committed to this thing for work, or as an entrepreneur, like you sometimes you just have to grind. But it's also understanding, okay, this season I'm going to be going in. That means on this Saturday or this Tuesday, I'm not putting anything on my
Yep.
calendar. I'm not, because I'm going to need to pause, and I will wake up that day and figure
Mm,
out what are my options. And for those people that have little people, little children, little ones, it is a very different world for you altogether when it comes to what self-care means and what that looks like for you, because there is always someone that depends on you. And so I often understand, or I do understand that that may look different. It may look like right now I'm in mommy mode, and that means I can't be in friend mode like I want to be for this person, or how this person expects me to be. I can't be in partner mode like this person expects me to be. I have to wake up and talk to myself and give to myself first before I can pour from an overflow for all these other people in my life. But it
yep.
will sometimes it looks like a whole day to myself. Sometimes it may look like a whole day to some
Yeah.
people. Other times it looks like you got 6 minutes. What are you going to do with the 6 minutes of protected time? And both of those are correct, because self-care is really
Mm,
still choosing self. And so for me, it really does change based on what's being thrown at me, what I have on my calendar, what I have capacity for, what I'm realistic about. Because also Virgo, because I'm like, why can't we do it? Just because I and so the big question I've had to Right. Shout out to the why can't we move the world? And so the question that kind of keeps me in check is, just because I can, or the phrase, just
yeah.
because I can doesn't mean I should.
Is it
I
for
can
is
do
it
it, but
for
do
me
I
to
need
do?
to?
Should I have delegated it? Because
Is it?
delegation nation, y'all are a thing. Me, myself, I'm not there yet. I want to get there. My issue is I'm not. And so I'm doing better at calling myself out. Do you have to do this? Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. Sit down.
What part of your ego is saying you have to do this? And you're neglecting you. So again, going back to self, a lot of the things that we do is for the external validation, the external confirmation of worthiness, the external confirmation of being enough, the external confirmation of not being too much. And so self care gets put on the back burner because we're trying to prove that ourself is enough. So we're not even caring for it, we're harming it, trying to prove that ourself is enough when we are already.
You are preaching. You are eating it up. Eating it up. You're welcome.
Thank you, Fred. But so I'm curious, what advice would you give for people who, because the world expects wellness to look a certain way, and often it is whitewashed and driven in a very certain way. And so I'm curious what you would say actual
I
self-care
love
looks
that
like in a
because even while
messy.
you were talking about what you needed and how it looks different each day, I think we have to be less rigid with our self care. Because, like you said, I like literally echoing those sentiments. Some days that might be like, yo, you might be vegan. But when Nana cooks, eat that mac and cheese and collard greens. Like it don't have to be every day, but like there's love in that food. You know that there's love at that table. Even if you had to sit at the table while she's making it and you can't stay for the full dinner, but you could still be around. Like do what you have to do to get your love and get your light and get cared for. I think we're looking at like, these mass exoduses of these major metropolitan cities of people choosing family, simpler lives, like lifestyles that look a little less focused on work and a little more open to like community and love, because people realize like love you won't find in the office in the same way you'll find it in your home. And that's not the same for everybody. Some people have really, toxic, unfortunate familial relationships. So, I definitely understand that that's not exactly. But
And
yeah,
having
if you
some
find
chosen
wherever you
family,
find that
right?
love, like especially when you're feeling that the world is not seeing you and all these different things, when you need to be seen by people who don't care if you got your hair done today and don't care what you do and don't mind that your breath stink before you before you before you got, got out of bed and came right down to the kitchen for coffee instead of brushing your teeth. Like, be around people who love you as a full being. They
Mm,
like what you do. They're proud of you, but like you are the difference maker. Your presence in their lives. They love that you exist. Like they see you for you without anything, title, anything, whatever. And they see you even after you've made a mistake and love you. Like you got to be around people who like
mm,
really love you. And if you don't have those
mm-hmm.
types of relationships, I ask, that you pray for them and challenge yourself to put yourself out there in moments where you can be vulnerable. And there's so many, paid communities now, online communities, group therapies, offerings. Like there are ways to find the community that you crave. You just have to put yourself out there. You might have to do a little Google search or see where your friends are going. If you're a church girly, go to a support group. Like there are a lot of places to find community. We do not have to live life alone, and we're not supposed to. It's just not good for us. And so, yeah, I would say that
Mm,
that would be where I find it. Yeah.
mm. I love that. I love that. Because even in the naming of it
It,
being self care, it does require community. Like you have to start with you, but
yeah.
community, as with, everything, makes it better. And a lot of what I appreciate that you spoke to like the different ways people can find community because I think that's a big conversation now. People are like, we don't know how to build community.
Yeah.
We have friends, but we don't have community. We don't have someone to lean on where like if something
Mm,
happens to me, you're gonna take care of my kids, or I can't pay this grocery bill.
yeah.
I can lean on this person to do that. And I think people are a bit stunted in understanding what community means. And so as you begin to develop different self-care habits for yourself and different boundaries for yourself and different grace for yourself, it allows you to come to do what you talked about at the top of our time, be more honest and
Mm,
authentic around what you need. And then when you know what you need, that is a beautiful litmus test for who can be in your community because they can
mm,
be honest about how much of that they can give you and what seasons they can give it in. Because let's also be honest, community, they can't give you everything all the time because they're also working
come
through their
on.
seasons, but at least they're honest about it,
You
right?
have
But you
to.
have to start with you.
And I love the idea that community has to be intentionally built and intentionally sorted through when things aren't looking like the community you want it to be. And that's the hardest thing to do. Like that's the sad work. That's the heartbreaking work where you're like, dang, I love this person, but this is the third time they made me doubt myself. This is the third time my spirit felt broken instead of filled when I was with them. This is the third time. Like
Mhm.
at some point you do have to be honest about like if a person is actually not your friend, what that looks like too. And that work I think is hard but worth it because well all the work is hard but worth it, but that is especially worth it because then it makes space for the people who actually do want to be in your life. And it might be some seasons where it's lonely and sad, but for what it can be, I think it's worth it to remove people that really just don't like you. Like there's some people that just in your life just
Yeah.
because you cool and you got
Yeah.
access or you funny or you know the right folks or whatever, and they don't really like you.
That's true. That's so real. So see, you're naming all these beautiful components of self-care because what you just spoke to was another piece of self-care
Mm,
is discernment. Like
yeah.
trusting your intuition and trusting your discernment. Like that is
Mm.
caring for yourself. That requires no
Eh.
money, but it does require honesty,
And that's a word.
which
And
is hard.
community is the way we test how far we've really come in our growth. Like
Yes, you can grade your
like
own paper.
we can't teach ourselves. Like we can learn, we can do all that we can. And you like, I am no longer that person. I was such an angry person. But let you be triggered. That is where you will learn how much the work works. And sometimes you might get triggered and really might have to cut somebody out. But that's how you know, okay, the next time. Okay, so we're at a
Okay.
five. I thought
So
we were at an
far,
eight.
okay. Noted.
We're not to 10. But I know where I'm at. And now I know that next time that person talks about
Right.
my,
Right.
forehead, whatever triggers people. Look, I got a big forehead, it used to trigger me. I right in here, me, Tyra and Rihanna just turned up. I feel like, when I was a kid, that used to trigger me. And then I think something happened where I was working and I was so insecure about my forehead. I used to wear these bangs that like went to right here, and then I got the job, and they were like at the Wizards, and they were like, "You have to remove those bangs because it's cutting off our eyesight to you on the jumbotron," and that made me have to step out, and I was so nervous about it. But then after a while, I was like, "Why was I tripping about this?" But I had to be pushed into a situation that forced me to not do it. Had they not asked me to do that, I would have never known how to move through it. I would have been insecure about my
Mhm.
forehead the whole time. So you don't know whatever your insecurities or triggers are, the life situations, the community you're around have to be able to like poke it sometimes to see if you're really as far
Right.
as you think you are in that growth.
Mm. Yes. Yes. We understand that with cooking. We test the food to make sure it's well
Hello?
done or it's cooked all the way through before we eat it. Like we need and to your point,
Right.
sometimes the you may be at an 8 or a 9, consistently. But if you haven't been caring for yourself, if you haven't been pausing, if you haven't been resting, if you've been, self-sabotaging, if you've been self-denying, if you've been choosing everyone else other than yourself and you are running
Yep.
on fumes, they will get you at a 3. And then you're like, oh man, I thought I was so much better I'm so much farther along than I am. Why am I still struggling with this? Girl, maybe you're not struggling. Maybe you just exhausted and
Come
they caught the
on.
wrong one on the
Wrong
right
one.
day. But you aren't
Right.
paying enough attention to all like to running on fumes that you don't realize it's that much easier for you to be triggered. But to your point, like we can't grade our own paper when it comes to our healing. It's real easy for me to be, I am zen, I love everyone, it is fine. My type A recovering perfectionist Virgo-ness, it is, I have worked through it all. Let somebody now follow a plan I created. Okay. The care of myself is like, oh, I need to walk. I need to step away. I need to
And
step.
this is
Look, you see,
where
I'm
I
rocking
start
as I'm
self
talking to you
soothing.
now. I, I need to self-soothe. I'm walking away. I'm asking myself the questions that I told other people they need to ask themselves when they're upregulated. Like
Mm.
you, that's when you test it out. Those are the litmus tests. Those are the check-ins. It was like, ooh, I got a little bit more that was a 3 situation. I responded with an 8. Let me figure out
Mm.
all they wanted was an extra piece of chicken. All she asked for was 10 more minutes
Mm.
of time. Why did I respond like that? You know what? I haven't slept in a week. I haven't gotten my 36 hours. I haven't, you know, taken that 5 minutes every morning to talk to me first
Yeah.
before I interact with any other human being. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Or you know that preemptively. Okay, it's been a week of
Mm.
me not taking any moments for myself. And so
Yep.
I may not be meant for human consumption. Let me reset my expectations of everybody so I don't harm people and then feel bad about thinking I'm a bad person
Ooh.
because I had a human behavior.
Because the spiral, that time, because the spiral,
The
with
spiral is
thinking you
quick.
are a
It
bad
is quick
person
and mighty.
because of a mistake it should be studied. I feel like Black women, we do the best. Like we are the ones to be like, oh my God, girl, I am just such a bad person. And it's like, no, girl, you made a mistake. Okay, go and apologize. Okay, they might not accept the apology. You might not be that person's friend no more. That's okay. That comes with harming. That's what harming communities. Sometimes they can say yes or no. That's their age.
Growth.
They're right. But at the end of the day, can't hold yourself at one
Mhm.
moment, one decision in your life. Like that freedom that comes with the fact that you are a full human that experiences life and you gonna have behavior sometimes is one of the most important spaces to, I think, get to in your life journey. Like just allowing yourself to be okay with the fact that you will fail, drop the ball, make mistakes, be humiliated sometimes, and sometimes it won't be other people doing it
Mm,
to you, it'll be you doing it to yourself. And if you can give yourself the grace to be like,
mhm.
ooh, that was bad, I'm not gonna stay down for a week, but I will give myself 48 hours to feel sad, feel bad, feel whatever I need to feel embarrassed, whatever, whatever. And that might look like different time lengths for everybody. Like I know people who need a couple months, like they're out the
Mm,
way because something really bad happened. But like when you allow yourself to come back to a space of, and I'm still me and I'm still worthy and I still deserve love and I still can make a better decision next time,
mm,
it just frees up a part of you from spiraling into that disconnect that happens within yourself when you start judging yourself instead of loving yourself.
Oof, that's good. So now self care also looks like you just naming all the things that self care should actually look
Mm,
like. It also looks like giving yourself permission.
come
It
on.
looks like giving yourself permission
Mm,
to or not
that's
to,
right.
but giving yourself permission.
Okay.
So finish this sentence for me. For me, self
Mm.
care
For
looks
me,
like.
self care looks like everything and nothing. Self care looks like a spa day, and it also looks like a day of being nothing to no one except for myself. Self care looks like
Mm,
a long walk, a 30-minute walk through, Larchmont or Brooklyn or, one of my favorite walking cities, and taking an extra $20 just to see the new gentrified cafes. And, and it looks like listening to my favorite sermon or my favorite gospel playlist. It looks like going to church and raising my hands when
mm,
the gratitude that I have been experiencing or haven't been experiencing that week comes upon me. It looks like, answering the
mm,
calls from my mother, even though it's the third time today, and it's me like, well, child, just whatever she wants to talk about, girl. Come on, let's talk. Yes, I did. You want me to call back? So, okay, I did. It looks like hearing my brother and sister laugh about their inside jokes. It looks like publishing another episode of Healed Girl Era with no funding yet and no like still showing up for myself in my dreams. It looks like sticking to a
mm,
routine because I didn't realize how much I routine until it got to the point where I was like, why am I not able to focus? Why am I not able to do this? And it really did look like building a routine that worked for me, and it looks different on each week, but it's a routine. So for me, self-care again just looks like
mm,
remaining obsessed with is showing up for what I need in that moment and giving myself the permission to need nothing and everything. Like sometimes I need nothing. Sometimes I need everything. Sometimes I need my friends.
mm,
Sometimes I need to date and be outside. Sometimes I need, all the things. But sometimes I need nothing and both count and both are necessary. That was a long sentence, but
I love that. Oof. Not but,
yeah.
and all of those things are necessary for self-care. And I think it's beautiful that you went through that full gamut because it does look like all of that and none
Yep.
of that, depending on who you're talking to, right? We also name that self-care looks like grieving. Self-care looks like setting boundaries. Self-care looks like giving grace. Self-care looks like trusting your intuition.
Mhm.
Self-care looks like not feeling guilty. Self-care looks like putting yourself out there and being in community. So, and none of the things we
Yes.
named were
But
go
that's
get a
also
pedicure.
self care because sometimes them pedicures be hitting,
And a 20
and you like,
year
woo.
sometimes they do. Sometimes you
Yes,
like, I just want someone else to do for me, right? Self-care looks
yeah,
self-care looks seasonal.
mm-hmm,
Self-care
yeah,
looks seasonal. And so it is not like we need to take how do I say this? For
come,
us, self-care is not an
come on,
industry. It's a survival tactic. It's a necessity. It is
mm,
truly a reclamation of our liberation.
mm,
For us, self-care is truly about our liberation because it starts with actually choosing us. And I know that might be difficult and I know it may feel uncomfortable at times because we haven't been taught to choose ourselves. It's been beaten out of us to some extent. And so
yeah,
self-care looks truly like loving yourself. It really does.
mm,
And so this week, I want to invite you and everyone listening to put something
mm,
down in the name of self care, of real self care. So maybe it's canceling a call or not answering a text you don't have energy for. Maybe it's
mm,
the pressure to smile when you don't feel like it. Whatever that is, text it to a friend, put it in your notes, DM me, let me know because saying it out loud is a part of the release, right? Saying it out loud is a part of that release for you. And whatever that looks like, just know you're allowed to not have it all together. You're allowed to take up space in your own life. And if nobody told you all, Gia and I are telling you today,
mm,
you don't have to earn your softness. You don't have to perform your peace. You're worthy even in the mess, especially in the mess. So as you head back out into the world, please take what you need
mm.
from this space and leave what doesn't serve you. And whatever you do next, try not to pick that bag up too fast. Gia, I want to thank you so much for sharing what you have shared today. I want to thank you for your honesty and your care and your candidness and just your
Thank
heart.
you,
You are
sister. I love you very
absolutely
much. I'm
amazing.
so excited that the world gets to have this space and this podcast and this version of you that gets to pour into more than one person at a time. So I'm so excited for you and thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. So, to everyone, thank you again for listening. Until next time, drink water, take naps, and do something just for you. Bye for now.
So good.